What is going on? My name is Mike, and this is all about pressure washing. And today I'm going to talk about pricing commercial jobs. And you've seen us do all kinds of commercial jobs. You've seen us do apartment complexes, which is kind of not commercial but residential, multifamily, stuff like that. But you've seen us do parking garages, you've seen us do gas stations, you've seen us do all kinds of different restaurants, warehouses, office buildings, things like that. Well, I got a call from a company that does something interesting, but they've got a big building, and we're going to look at it in a minute, and they only want a certain section of the building done. It's a very long building, only like 14 feet up, I believe is what they were saying, on the backside, and like 1 story up on the front, but just where there were some loading docks. So with all of that being said, we're going to go in, we're going to talk to the folks, we're going to get a better idea of what they're doing, and then we're going to talk about how we might price this, some of the things that we see, some of the things that we learn during the process of the proposal and the walkthrough. So should be interesting. Let's go check it out. So like I said, we got the call. He found us on Google, which is awesome. He went to our website, filled out the response-a-bid form, but because of the size and the scope of what was being requested, I decided it was best to come out and lay eyes on this for myself. So I met with the facility manager initially, and then one of the maintenance guys was showing me around the property. And this is honestly where you can get some of the best information when you're doing commercial properties. Typically, these are the guys that have the most knowledge on the outside of the building, because they're the ones that are responsible for it for the most part, at least on the daily operational side. So as we're walking around, obviously one of the most important things to look for is a water source, especially on big jobs like this. You need to have a constant supply of water, and in this particular scenario, they didn't have any faucets on the exterior of the back of the building or the sides where we were going to be cleaning. So they did have multiple spigots up on the front, but not a single one on the back. We looked inside a couple of the rooms that housed all those, like the fire suppression stuff, the gauges, all those alarms and stuff I don't know anything about, but there was nothing available. And obviously from what you're seeing in this video, this back of the building is the most expansive part of the entire job, and it's the area where we're going to need the most water, and running back and forth to fill up throughout the day creates a tremendous amount of inefficiency, and that leads to less profit, and that is something that I am not interested in exploring. But we do have the capability of utilizing the fire hydrants to fill our water tanks throughout the job. So that is what we're going to do in this particular scenario. Now, there are multiple ways to do this, but I suggest that you check with your local municipality to determine the best route for your situation, because like I said, there's different ways to go about it. And if you're interested in generating lead flow, filling up your schedule with jobs like this, check out my 6-figure marketing framework if you want to learn how to get businesses like this to find you, hire you, and give you their money. This course takes the last 20 years of my marketing strategies and condenses them into a value-packed course that is going to cut your learning curve and get your phone ringing. There's a link below. You can learn more about it there, but also know that I'm so confident in this course that I'm offering you 100% money back guarantee. If you don't make back at least the cost of the course after implementing the things that I teach you, just let me know, no questions asked, and I'm going to give you your money back. That's how confident I am. And if you want to save $50, use promo code 50FREE, and that's all I got to say about that. So another thing to consider when giving any kind of quote is what it's going to take to complete the job and exceed the customer's expectations. The idea of only rinsing the bottom 14 feet is not something that I would ever suggest. Nobody really wants a half-clean building, and I'm not exactly sure what the thought process is here. It didn't sound like it was a budgetary concern, but that's not for me to decide or question. But I will be giving an estimate for doing both the 14 feet and the entire back wall. We're also looking at the front of the buildings where all the trucks were parked at the docks. They wanted about half of that building clean as well. However, on the front, there was a nice even break with that blue awning, so it wouldn't be that obvious. And so for quoting the entire building, we'd need to bring in a lift. So that's something that you also need to take into account. And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier, knowing what it takes to complete the job. And then if that means renting a lift, maybe bringing in extra help if you're a one-man operation and the customer has a timeline they're trying to hit. Whatever the case is, all of these things need to be accounted for when you're preparing the estimate. So obviously you need water. Obviously you want to be able to meet the customer's expectations and exceed them. And then you have to consider the logistics of getting the job done as quickly as possible for multiple reasons. The first, of course, is the faster you get it done, the quicker you can get to another job and the more money you can make. Speed and efficiency equal profits. Now, another reason is because you want to get out of the customer's way, right? They're running a business here and they just want you to do your job and get out of the way. And obviously, when there are tons of loading docks and an equal amount of containers sitting in front of those loading docks, and the area that needs to be cleaned is behind all of those containers, the question has to be asked, when will be a good time to get out here and take care of it when these are not in the way. And then also understanding what exactly their expectations are, right? Because there's a tremendous amount of grease and oil buildup from the trailers and the hydraulics, which takes a little bit more time than a traditional building wash, if you will. So understanding your own capabilities, and again, exactly what it's going to take in order to clean the surfaces to the customer satisfaction is absolutely essential. And all of these things come into play when you're writing up your estimate. What chemicals you're going to use, what chemicals you're going to need, what's the chemical consumption going to look like? Are there any other factors or potential issues that could possibly slow you down? Things like the water sources that we talked about. If they don't have a water source handy and you don't have access to a hydrant, you need to take into account that time that you're going to be spending breaking down, filling up, setting back up, back and forth all day. This time is valuable and you need to be paid for it. So those are just a few of the things that I always look at when I'm quoting these big commercial jobs. And we don't always get them all and we don't always get them right. But if you know what you're looking for, you know the questions to ask, you know your own capabilities, you're going to be able to get pretty close so you don't lose your ass. Now, obviously, being as profitable as possible for your business is the most important thing. And with that being said, it's also understandable that you might not be the right company for every potential customer. So don't be afraid to walk away from a job if it's not going to make you money. There is no reason to take on work just to stay busy if you're not being profitable. Use that time to work on your marketing, getting your name out there, generating leads so you're in the driver's seat. And like I said before, check out the 6-Figure Marketing Framework. If you've got any questions about this job or any other kind of commercial jobs, leave a comment below and I would be more than happy to ask. And I hope you have a great day.